Throughout history, religious differences have prevented humanity from reaching a state of coexistence. If we cannot find a common ground, our cultures, communities, and beliefs will continue to be divided. In Eugene, Oregon, this journey towards cooperation has begun through the local interfaith movement.
Interfaith doesn't have a box. It doesn't have a building. It doesn't have only certain people involved.
It isn't a new religion, per se. It's a real deep learning process of sincerely appreciating people on a one-to-one and as a whole.
Using the term, people often use interfaith as if it's a noun. And I see it as an adjective that describes a way of working, a way of creating activities, a way of coming together, and a way of being.
While interfaith activity has existed in Eugene for many years, a major shift occurred in response to the events of September 11th, 2001.
By noon of that day, a group of us met with the mayor, the chief of police, a couple of other city officials, and we created a service that we put on that night.
All of a sudden, it didn't matter what faith, what culture, what ethnic, what race you were. We're all in this together, and that really came home.
The picture was shifting in terms of the family growing larger, really, truly interfaith.
9/11 had acted like a catalyst for change, increasing interfaith activity. Siri Carr Khalsa knew that now was a time to bring forth her vision of the interfaith prayer and reflection services.
Differing from other interfaith services that I had heard about, this one had a specific purpose, if you will.
So I really think it was a sort of a social nourishment to them to find a venue that brings all those different faiths together. 31 plus faiths are represented each 11th of the month at the First Christian Church, to where they speak to different aspects of their faith. Nobody thought they would really go on for this length of time, but they're still extremely popular, extremely well attended. And that sort of spoke to the need of people to find an understanding.
Meeting other people, being in the same room with other people whose religions were fairly different from mine, would help me break down stereotypes, and that's exactly what's happened.
You start to see an outline of a picture of this person's faith, and then you realize it's a peaceful, beautiful way of existing.
With this new understanding, the faith groups have been able to unify their efforts and make a difference in the greater community.
And we work with everybody, anybody that has room. This week, we're at a non-denominational church. There's a Mennonite church next door that's providing the facilities to cook the food, and a third church across the street is actually using their workforce to prepare the food. So there's 3 different congregations involved in the shelter this week.
In the past, interfaith work in other communities, the only one I've experienced other than that, has always been, yes, we're going to have an interfaith service and we'll bring in the Buddhists and the Hindus and the Jewish people and the Christians, you know, and to me that was just like, great, wonderful, that's a beginning, but it's not the whole picture. And Eugene, I think, has gotten the bigger picture.
So we're trying to find a new way of understanding each other. It doesn't require us to categorize somebody as an other, a them. Rather, we try and find the truth that they hold and bring our truth to the fore as well, and see if each truth can't illuminate the other.
Now we've got places where we are visiting each other's synagogues, mosques, temples, and churches.
This network of support provides help for the community in times of need.
There have been a number of attacks on the synagogue in recent years, The response by the interfaith community was tremendous.
A series of churches decided that they would come, each different church, every night to stand in front of the synagogue for 3-4 hours, pouring rain, whatever.
Kind of a recognition that we weren't alone anymore. We had friends we could call on, and we in turn could be there for them.
Commitment that was needed by the people that were drawn to this has been amazing. This is a very special town, a very special area.
The interfaith work in Eugene, through Two Rivers Interfaith Ministries, through IPRS, or any of the groups that are doing interfaith work and the people out in the community, I believe we have done an incredible job, and I don't know that there's been any other place in the United States that has been as active.
While Eugene has been successful in creating interreligious acceptance, the question remains, what will interfaith's role be in the global community?
It's time for the world to get serious about peaceful ways of being.
It's not a venue to solve major differences between religions, but it is a great venue for building bridges, and that's a segue and a first step to possibly solving some of the larger problems.
Part of the work that we still have left to do is let the world know that they can too come together and live together and work together in harmony.
And if we're going to get along in the future, then we have to find our common ground and celebrate our difference, our diversity. I don't want to call them differences, but celebrate the diversity that is rich, and the rituals and the things that can be brought forward and to create a better place.